Crouse. Like, don't judge it until you go see it, because, like, I don't know, it's refreshing to hear somebody be like, I didn't know what to expect, you know, I was a little worried, and then them coming out of it like, oh my gosh, that was great. Yeah. Like, it's so cool to hear that. So
and it's understandable too, because, you know, any remake, you're gonna be like, oh, they're remaking that? Oh, okay. And then you're like, you know, form an opinion.
Yeah.
But we're changing people's minds, I think, every time they see it. So hopefully that just continues to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are probably, you must be too young to remember the original. Yeah.
Well, no, we loved it.
We saw it,
but not in the theaters.
Oh, yeah, I was born '88, so I actually.
That makes me so mad. That makes me so mad. I can't tell you. So when you first got the script, then, and the idea was pitched to you, what was your initial reaction? What was your first thought?
Well, once I read the first script, and it was the musical version, and then I got sent Craig's script, and I read that, and I was like, this is exactly what I would hope it to be. And knowing Craig as a director, I was like, this is going to be actually really cool, and it's grounded and it's real, and I know that his musical choices were going to be just on point. So, you know, I felt really, really strong about jumping on board to this film, and after I auditioned, obviously, it was time to tackle it, and yeah, it was Craig Brewer's version, man. It's kick-ass.
And I was attached when it was the musical version, so, you know, which was cool, and, you know, it was going to be that version. But the fact that it became this version, I as a, you know, aspiring actor who wants to be an actress forever, like, it's the best thing that could have happened for me, I think, you know, because I was probably hired for the dancing and the singing in the first place, and then I kind of had to re-audition for Craig's version because he really wanted it to be real and like the original, and he's like, you know, you're not going to be dancing that much in this one, and I'm like, I know, and I want it. I want to be an actress, you know. So he gave me that shot, and I really appreciate it. So
what's funny, in the end, and this, I don't want to give anything away, but in the end, during the big dance at the end, right?
Yeah.
The person sitting next to me is like, when is she going to dance? When is she going to dance? Because you guys go out and dance a lot, and people wanted to see you dance. So
yeah, and I think, you know, I don't know. I mean, they've seen me dance, and so it was cool to be in something where I could show it a little bit, and it was a completely different style, but that, like, it wasn't for my character. It was not about the dancing. For my character, it was about, like, peace and, like, finding that, like, relationship with her dad and finding out kind of who she is and was, and kind of going back there. So, I mean, it was fun, but Craig was telling me, he's like, Julianne, we had this thing, like, when I would, like, over dance, because I didn't want to, like, dance so much that, you know, a 17-year-old girl from Beaumont knows what she's doing or looks like. So he would be like, Julianne, tone down the hairography when I like whip around my head and stuff, because that's when it started. Yeah, it started looking like I knew what I was doing, dropping it like it's hot. So I had to, like, tone down the hairography. So.
And for you, you're a choreographer as well as an accomplished dancer on your own, but you also do choreography. Yeah. Was it? Tell me what it was like then working with another choreographer to train you to do the dances you do in the film.
Yeah, well, I had worked with many choreographers, so it wasn't anything new. But to work with Jamal Sims was amazing, and for him to have actors who could dance, I think, was perfect harmony. So, you know, it was great. He's an amazing choreographer, and between him and Craig making the decisions to not be perfect and pristine and kind of raw, and was fun. You know, it was really fun, and getting to do so many different dance styles in one film it was great too. You know, there's a little bit of hip hop at the beginning, and then country, and rocking out, and then doing the Footloose at the end. It's just, it was a huge full spectrum of dance, and I think that's amazing to also show up and coming dancers or performers that, you know, you can kind of do it all.
Well, one of the most iconic scenes from the original film is the angry dance scene, which is replicated in the new film. Do you feel pressure, and what kind? I guess you do. What kind of pressure do you feel when you know that you're going to put your own spin on it, but it's a scene that people really love and have a real fond memory of from the original?
I was at Paramount before we started shooting, and Craig kind of pitched that scene to me, and he has his boombox, and once he played the song and I heard the White Stripes guitar come in, I didn't feel any pressure to do what Kevin did in the original. It was a different song, it was a different feel. It kind of has the same look, but as soon as I heard that song, I was so amped to just dominate that scene, and I knew it, being a dancer, that I was going to get the opportunity to kind of go nuts, and so I wasn't too worried about that, to be honest. I was excited, you know.
I get the chills every time I see him do that scene. Like it's like, I think I get emotional. I'm like getting emotional now. But, no, but like when you're like spitting out those, you know, things and you know, talking about, you know, don't talk about my mother and all that stuff. Like that was so awesome. Like I loved that they put that in there, and that was like kind of a last minute thing, right?
That was the day. Yeah, that was on the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Craig was like, "Here, try saying some of these." I woke up to an email at like 7:30 in the morning or something. And I was like, "Oh God, I got to do this now." Okay, but it works so well, and it just his anger just amplifies, and then it's like it gives him a reason, like, okay, this is why he's dancing in this, going ballistic in this thing, not just like, you know, hoaxy or whatever.
It's funny because you said earlier about how you were happy that the dancing didn't have to be pristine, didn't have to be perfect. There's a moment in the angry dance, I don't know, that's what I call it, the angry dance scene. That's what you
It used to be the punch dance, now it's the
By the
angry
way,
dance.
I wish I had the angry dance, because that was like, it's so good. I remember shooting it, I was like,
You'll have an angry
can
dance.
I have an angry dance too? No, just kidding.
How long did it take you to shoot the angry dance?
That was the last 3 days of shooting. Really? It was either 2 or 3 days, and that's what we finished the film on. So it was like a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
But it was cool to, you know, just literally let it all out by the end. And then once you heard rap, I, you know, got a little emotional myself, and it was just such a mountain to climb. And then it felt like, oh, we reached it, and it felt good, and I felt good about that scene and good about the entire film. You know, the process went well, and everyone seemed to be happy, and we had a couple sizzle reels we got to look at, so we were like, oh my God, this is working.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I wanted to ask you about it is you're dancing on top of a truck or a car or something, and you fall off it.
Yeah, the VW.
Yeah, and yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's on your car. Yeah, on your VW.
Do a
And
few little spins.
yeah, and then you fall off. Was that planned? Because it looks in the movie, it looks like it wasn't, and I thought, oh, that's cool. They left this moment in, but
No, it was planned. Craig wanted to see him challenged. Craig wanted him to, you know, scuff his arm and go through, you know, not perfect and pristine. He wanted to be raw and be like, oh, that's cool. And no, he fell and he's getting back up. And so I think, no, it was very much planned, and there was mats.
there was match. Yeah. No, because it did. Like, it looks. It's very cool the way it happens in the film because you're dancing, and then it does look like a moment where you know someone was yelling "cut," you know, and then but they left it in. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's a very cool moment. Yeah,
it's supposed to feel like that. So that's the point. Yeah.
We saw it with an audience last night, and audience reaction is crazy. Even in the lineup to go in, people were like squealing. Young people were squealing about this movie. Have you seen it with? I mean, you were there towards the end last night, but have you seen it with an audience full of people who are?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times now at some screenings at Paramount where they invited some random people, some dancers, some friends, some family. So I've seen it with the crowd, and you know, hearing the laughs and the reactions and the dancing, and you see everyone bobbing their head, and then there's been like standing ovations at the end, and obviously it's all love because it's people that are invited to the screenings. But yeah, it's amazing feeling that love and feeling the reactions, because that's what we want, you know. That's why we did this.
Completely. I haven't seen it with just random people. Like I've
Civilians.
Had
Let's call them civilians.
Random people.
Humans.
Yes, with civilians. I've seen it with, you know. Actually, I saw it with my Rock of Ages cast. They had us let us have a screening, and it's cool because like it's nerve-wracking because they actually know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but at the same time, like, yeah, it is all love because it is from people you know. But I'm excited to actually like sit in the very back and just watch people's
sneak into some theaters after it comes out and just like
totally.
Yeah, you have to. You guys are both so recognizable that you have to wear glasses or hats or something. Yeah,
It's so fun.
Craig, I love in the film that it doesn't. it doesn't feel like a teen film. You know, it feels more to me like an indie film. It feels like you can really feel like the South in it. I really felt that you could feel the humidity in it.
Yes. You know what I love so much about it? Yeah.
That was real.
Yeah, it was too. What I love so much about it is, I think Craig has touched on this before, but just like, it's a teen movie that you're not talking down to. Like, you're not patronizing them, you know? Like, it's very, it is real, and it's like, these are messages that I think teens need to have, and it's a movie that, like, it's hard to make those kind of movies nowadays because it's all about explosions and big budget movies to, you know, in this day and age. So it's like for us to be able to do that and I mean to do like a Southern movie basically.
Yeah.
I mean that, you know,
that was a character in itself.
Yes, I
Georgia.
mean, most people like don't do that because there's a whole other audience. You know what I mean for that, and so it was, you know, it was a big, I guess, risk in this day and age, but, like, I mean, we loved it.
Yeah, the fact that we got to do a risk in making Footloose because of the type of film it was then, but bringing those elements to today, you know, your typical dance movie doesn't have those kind of elements.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
So to get to do that and still dance, I think was a huge important part of being true to the original Footloose.
Now, neither of you are exactly newcomers, but you're stepping onto a set with Dennis Quaid and Andy McDowell. Was there any sort of, and you have very intense scenes with both of them. Yeah. And you know, there's one, and we won't use it, but when he hits you, that's a very heavy scene to play.
It is.
Tell me a little bit about that day, if you can.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, I mean, it was such an important scene in the original, and I knew that was going to be pretty tough for me because, you know, I mean, similar. I relate to Ariel a lot, and certain things have happened in my life that, you know, cross over to my character as well. So that was a really important scene to me, and it was easy for me to get emotional about. But getting emotional is really exhausting. So, like, and also, like, to be able to hold the tears back in all the wide shots, you know what I mean? Because you didn't want to waste all the tears on the first. I did that in burlesque, so I learned very quickly. So I would, you know, I had my iPod with headphones on all day. Like I said, I warned everybody. I said, if I'm not being social, if I don't talk to you, it's it's nothing personal. I'm in my zone, and especially for today. So, I just listened to like songs that got me in the mood, and Dennis was so great because it's an emotional thing for him too, and he gave me all of that emotion, take after take after take, and it was very, very helpful, and just it was respectful that, you know, you don't expect to get from somebody as seasoned to a not so seasoned, you know. So it was very cool.
I liked your scene with him in the church where he initially thinks that you're Bobby, and then you sit and talk. Yeah. And I liked it because he thinks that you're one thing. He thinks you're this rebellious hellraiser, and you prove to him in that 3-4 minutes thing that you're not. And it's a really nice scene between
It's the first time we get to level with each other. Yeah. You know, Ren finally gets to just be like, hey, dude, like, look, I'm not a punk. But I think the best sum up of that, what you just said, is when he says, thank you. Yeah. And then it's like he's trying to find the reason to say thank you, and he just...
Well, see, I wasn't sure. He says thank you, and then I thought, does that mean she can go to the dance? Yeah. I don't know what that means. Like, you know,
it keeps you guessing, and then finally in church he goes, you know, keep them in our prayers and on their endeavors. So and everyone's like, ooh. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on it.
Thank you so
much. Lovely to see you,
and
and enjoy Toronto for the next couple of hours while you're here.
Appreciate it.
Richard Crouse.